On today's episode of Phinside The NFL, we got a lot to talk about as a Detroit Lions player who has practiced against the Dolphins before in joint practices calls the Dolphins out and implies that they're not ready for physical joint practices. Plus, I got some all 22 from the week 1 preseason tie with the Chicago Bears that I want to go over. And we'll discuss a lot more, including a former Dolphins player calling out the media. Man, we got tons to talk about, tons to discuss. Do me the favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you are new, and as always, let's get into this.
You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score. Field down the near side, man open. Touchdown. The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown. He's going deep. It's not over the touchdown again. Touchdown.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Finn Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Appreciate each and every one of you coming through on today's episode. The reason why I'm a little tardy is I had some serious technical issues that are still not solved, and hopefully they can get solved in the next couple days, because need those to be solved for the live stream this Saturday when we'll be reacting to the Lions and the Dolphins. Obviously, the Dolphins, the next 2 days, they will be in joint practice with the Detroit Lions, so we'll have you covered over here on Phinside The NFL. Make sure you keep it locked in. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for coming through. We got a little bit to talk about today. So first things first, if you saw the rumors going around, automatically dismiss them. Odell Beckham Jr. addressed them. He is not retiring. I know there were breaking little news is that, hey, OBJ is retiring. Well, he addressed them today, and he is, in fact, not retiring. So you don't have to put very much stock into those rumors at all. All right? So there you go. Now you know. All right? OBJ, he is not retiring. So there's no need to put any stock into those rumors. We are going to get into some Mike McDaniel updates here, but I'm just going to give you some thoughts just by watching back the All-22, man. Jonas Savaiinaia, listen, he had some ups and downs, especially moving in space, but that's, he's learning with his new side, so we'll have to give him some grace on that. But that depth, man, holy jeez, I just want chopping up the film yesterday because the All-22 came out, and oh my god. And I will say this, Kenneth Grant, we're going to show a dominant series he had. Kenneth Grant, they got something here. I only got about 14 plays I'm going to go over when we get into it, so it's not going to be very much, but we're going to go over some Ewers, some Zach Wilson. I've got examples that I was talking about during the game and leading up, so we're going to go over some Ollie Gordon. We got a lot. Man, I'm going to tell you this much. They got something, and with that Ollie Gordon kid, and we all knew this guy was a former Heisman candidate, but the Dolphins, after we were done yesterday, were not done adding running backs. They added some more running backs, so we will discuss that as well. And man, it could get nasty in Detroit this week for joint practices. Chalkboard material was given, but before we get into that, I do want to give my thoughts on something that was, that went down today. So, Terrence Fede, he was obviously one of those players I want to show you this. This was Terrence Fede and what he had to say. Now, we all remember Terrence Fede from back in the day. Funny enough, right? We all remember Terrence Fede from back in the day. So, Terrence Fede, if you remember him, he was obviously drafted, 234th overall in the 7th round in 2014. Terrence Fede, he played in 51 games for the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it's not like he had the most prestigious career. He had a sack. He had 34 tackles. You know what I mean? He had a run stuff. I mean, he was just a player. But this is what Terrence Fede said about the media. And this is what I've been trying to warn you guys about with the media. All right? This is what Terrence Fede said with the media. He said, "When I played for the Dolphins, the media had me on the list to get cut from the team for 4 years straight. Never happened. They don't know what's going on. Don't listen to the media. It's one person writing these crappy articles. Keep grinding and keep your eyes on the prize." That's what Terrence Fede said regarding the media today on Twitter this morning. Now, I'm sure we can all make an assumption of who he's discussing with the one person. You know, there's tons of people that have been around from that time, from the time he was around. But I find it interesting that a former player, is telling you guys exactly what I tried to tell you, and some people tried to throw heat on me. Listen, you want to bootlick the media all you want, knock yourself out. But I'm here to tell you, the new media is where it's at. All right? The new media, especially around the Miami Dolphins, let's stick with the Miami Dolphins here. Okay? The new media, you want to talk about me, you want to talk about Kyle Krabs, you want to talk about Reiner McConville. Where did Travis Wingfield come from? The new media, right? The Locked On Dolphins podcast came from the new media. You want to call us fanalists, you want to call us fans that are now analysts, whatever you want to label it as, knock yourself out. But the fact of the matter is, not only do we actually have a passion for this team, but we know ball. Now, you'll get people who are subjective to narratives, whether negative or positive, and then you'll get people that'll try to be fully objective like I will. Now, I'm sure biases come out in certain times, but at the end of the day here, this is a player right here telling you one of the problems is the legacy media. Like, we all know I'm going down next week to training camp. Here's the thing. What's in the back of my head? What's one of the thoughts that's in the back of my head is, wow, I can't wait to get down there and see what's actually worth hyping up and what's not. And I go back to last year. I heard all the hype about, Omar Kelly and those people, Tanner Conner, Quentin Bell. I get out there, I ain't see none of that. Right? And it's just, I don't know. You can sit here and tell and don't think this is the only player. We all know what Jordan Phillips, the old Jordan Phillips, not the new Jordan Phillips, notoriously hated the media. Christian Wilkins had no business. He hated the media. He wanted nothing to do with the media. So this isn't something new we've seen out here, right? Because, you got to find that balance between, critiquing and being overly critical, and I've been overly critical at times for sure. I think all of us have fallen victim to that, who have platforms that cover the team. But I just find it interesting that here it is, just a few months later, a former player who spent 4 years in Miami is telling you guys exactly what I'm telling you. A lot of these guys don't know what they're looking at in the old media. Okay? I said this before, I'll say it again. Put them in front of a chalkboard. All your questions will be answered within 5 minutes. Now, I go back to, hey, if you want to bootlick the media, if you want to, look up to the media, if you want to be the first one to, fall on your back and ask them to rub your belly and just believe everything they say, knock yourself out, man. That's your prerogative. I'm not here to tell you what to do and what not to do, but I am here to say, like Kanye West said, don't act like I never told you, right? It is what it is. So, I don't know. I find it very interesting, very, very interesting that already, because these guys are writing stuff about, I see people going back and forth about what they're seeing at camp. It's almost like this entitlement that, oh, well, because we have access through the companies that employ them, might I add you, not off the strength of their own individual hard work with their own individual brands, through the companies that employ them, might I add you, what I might add to you, or they've been grandfathered in because these guys have been around for 20 to 30 years. They think it, you can see the entitlement and all of a sudden they know more than us. But then, we see one game and already we are questioning a lot of narratives we're hearing coming out of camp. What do I think of DJ Lagway? I think he's young. I think he's got some development to do, but I think the ceiling is severely high for the kid. Severely high. I got a Bowman first auto of him too, refractor auto numbered of DJ Lagway that I pulled out of Bowman College Chrome last year. Listen, the kid's ceiling is high, but is he going to hit it? I don't know. Them boys operate off eye test based opinions. The difference is reason shares knowledge based opinions. Hey man, I use my eye test too, but it even goes back to look at this. All right. They'll use PFF in their articles, right? What do I tell you? I read the PFF grades so you know what they are. I don't read them to you guys or show them to you guys so they can be deemed as gospel. My whole stance is if the grades don't match your own eye test, go back and watch the film, try and see what you're missing, or go try and see what they're missing, right? I always tell you, trust your own eyes, right? And that's a good thing about me getting down there next week. We can trust my eyes a little bit more than these people. So, because I've had people that have actually been boots on the ground down there in the stands and in the media section that I've been talking to privately whose opinions I trust. And I've heard a lot of different stuff than what we're hearing from the old legacy media. And you know who I'm talking about with those guys. All right. Who we're talking about, right? The guys, this is why I appreciate Travis Wingfield so much. The nuances and the detail he gives in just his Twitter posts alone blows all these guys out of the water. I've talked about this, right? Daniel Loifusi could legitimately break down all 22 film for you guys. And he was decent at it, and he would write articles on it. He proved his worth. Just because you can post a clip and then make a comment about it doesn't mean you know what you're watching, right? So I think that's where it gets lost too. I've been posting clips since 2017 on Twitter, and I've read your descriptions you've attached to some of those clips. Basic, casual takes with no nuance at all, no detail at all. But again, we go back to that entitlement, right? Just because you've been doing something longer or you were the first one doing it doesn't mean you're the best at it, let alone doesn't mean you're good at it. Listen, I'm down to debate whoever needs it. You already know what time it is for me, so. All right, 300 of you in the chat. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. We're going to start getting into everything here. And let's start off with Grant Stuard and this clip from the Detroit Sports Podcast today. Now, this man spent time with the Buccaneers who have joined practice against us. We got to go over what he said today because this man is writing checks that Detroit Lions team could probably catch in the regular season, but in the preseason. All right, so here is Grant Stuard. This is what he said regarding the Miami Dolphins. Basically implied that we're not ready for a physical practice at all. So I'm going to play this clip here and let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat that all the audio is working when this plays, all right? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if the audio works.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I don't know if they ready, man. I'm gonna keep it a stack. Okay. Just because I've played at other places and played against that team last year, and I've joined practice against that team twice when I was in Tampa. And I don't know if they practice how we practice. So I'm excited to see our guys for sure, and I'm excited to get out there, do something against somebody else where they don't know every in and out of what we're doing and stuff. Exactly. So that'll be cool, man. It'll be dope.
Appreciate your time.
So, I mean, you got a guy right there calling the Miami Dolphins out, saying, hey, I've practiced against these guys before. I don't think they're ready for what we're about to bring. Now, what's interesting to me, and this is where I think this is kind of stemming from, right? What I think this is kind of stemming from is where, the tie between the Detroit Lions and Ben Johnson, right? I know Dennis Allen right now. He was the coordinator for the Chicago Bears. But the fact of the matter is a lot of these players know Ben Johnson, so they were paying attention to what happened last week probably in terms of the physicality with the Miami Dolphins and the Chicago Bears practice and how it all went. Right? I mean, so they're probably looking at this from a standpoint, well, if Ben Johnson is already putting it together a team that was too physical for them, what are we going to be for them? Right? And that's where that stance is coming from. That's number one. Number two, I mean, this is some legitimate chalkboard material. If this isn't lighting a fire up under your ass, I don't know what is. Because here's where we're at right now. The narrative, this soft narrative that was, being spun by the media, et cetera, it has now leaked over into actual teams implying that. And now you have players and teams trying to feed into that narrative. And what is that doing? Well, we're going to find out what that does when the Lions and the Dolphins play this weekend. But it should be lighting a little bit of a fire up under their ass because clearly, and here's crazy. When he was with the Bucs, I'm pretty sure when he was with the Bucs, Stuard, I'm pretty sure we won those joint practices against the Bucs. I'm pretty sure those were the joint practices where, remember, Tom Brady left one of them and he didn't come back. Right? He left in between he left in between his first or second drive or whatever. But those were the ones where Tom Brady left. Tom Brady was there, I'm pretty sure, when Stuard was there. So, I mean, I don't know what he's thinking, because we won those joint practices. But, I mean, is he writing a check for his team? Is he being overconfident in his team? We're going to find out. But, I mean, listen, here's where I'm at with the Dolphins. Because we know the starters aren't going out there. Here's where we're at, all right? The Bears, they brought the physicality towards your offense. Jalen Waddle's hurt, right? They brought the physicality in joint practice. Your defense got into a scuffle because you had some players wanting to be real physical and other players playing by the agreed-upon rules of said joint practice. Then you get into a game, and let's be real. They were taking their shots when they had them, whether it was against Zach Wilson or whether it was against Quinn Ewers. So now, here's your chance. Start to set the tone. We got 2 joint practices on Wednesday and Thursday with the Detroit Lions. This is your chance to start setting a tone before you head into this weekend's game on Saturday. Because here's the thing. We're worried about this team not having physicality in December and January. Well, right now, the media and other NFL teams are challenging your physicality out of the gate in September. And September, unless the quarterback's hurt, September and October have never been an issue for this team. But now, you're seeing it. And we're going to need guys to make plays. In the run game, the trenches is where it all starts, man. You got to get nasty there. So you got to start setting a tone against Detroit this week. You got to make the guys in the locker room, before you even get to the game on Saturday, start looking at Grant Stuard funny. Like, why did you even open your mouth, dude? Why did you even give them reason to want to punch us in the face, punch us in the mouth? And I'm going to tell you this again. Listen, if these other teams want to get extracurricular, match it. I'm not saying go above and beyond and start, headhunting and start taking out knees. But what I am saying is if these guys, if they're going to smack you in the face, if they're going to punch you in the mouth, if they're going to hit you with the Hayugan uppercut, give them one back. Give them one back. But, I don't know. I wasn't at joint practice, so we can only go off of the eyes at what people were there and talk about their game. I know our defense was being physical. This is really just a question about the offense, but I don't know. You got Jonas Savai, you got James Daniels, you got Aaron Brewer, you got Big Patrick Paul. I mean, punch him in the mouth. So, it's up to you guys whether you want to buy into what Grant Stuart's saying or what he's not. What I'm at is, okay, it's a new week. It's a fresh week. Set the tone early. And we'll see what happens. We will see what happens, but, I don't know. All I got to say is who? It's not like Aiden Hutchinson's coming out here and saying this. We got Grant Stuart. So, knock yourself out, Grant. Talk that talk. Let's just hope you can walk that walk. All right. Some more info for you guys today. So this happened yesterday after we had already talked about them adding the former middle school teacher, Champlin. The Dolphins were not done at running. The Miami Dolphins, they went ahead and they signed Mike Boone as well. They waived Monterey Baldwin, and Alexander Madison was placed on the injured reserve list. Now, with Mike Boone, you're talking about a 4-4 guy. He's got a little bit of explosiveness to his game. His RAS was really good. But again, we're dealing with another guy. What is he? Under 5'10", and he's about 206. So, but he's a good athlete. He makes sense. He's a fit in what they want to do. He's got that burst. He's got that explosiveness in his lower half. I mean, what are we really expecting, though? What are we really expecting here? I'm not going to sit here and sell you on something with a guy who's only got, 4 rushing touchdowns and 590 yards in the NFL up until this point. He's been on 5 different teams since 2018. So, and he's got 184 receptions to go with that. I apologize. But I don't think Mike Boone is going to, blow up anyone's fantasy league anytime soon. But I get it. It makes sense when you look at the athletic profile. He's a fit. He's played in 72 games up until this point. So, we'll see. But I mean, you've been in the league since 2018. You got 4 touchdowns rushing. You got 0 receiving. And pardon me while I don't hold my breath. I'm going to be honest with you. So, there you go. Filling out the running back room a little bit here with Champlin and now Mike Boone. Yay. I think Ollie Gordon, I think that also goes to show Ollie Gordon, they didn't add another thud guy. They didn't add another guy who could just punish you downhill. It looks like they might believe in Ollie Gordon a little bit after one game. So, we'll see. They didn't go out and exactly add what any of us would describe as a viable replacement by any stretch of the imagination for Alexander Madison. And I think that's because OG31 is locked in that role. So, all right, now, Mike McDaniel gave some updates today when he went to the podium. He had a few things to say, so let's get into that. All right. So this is what Mike McDaniel had to say today. Let's go over the highlights of it. So the Dolphins will get back 2 young defensive backs when they practice against the Detroit Lions on Wednesday and Thursday. McDaniel said Tuesday that Cam Smith and Dante Jr. will participate in the sessions in Michigan this week. So Smith has missed 6 practices in Sunday's preseason opener with what is believed to be a soft tissue injury, and we know the pressure's on the line for him. Trader, who flashed early in camp, has missed 2 weeks with a lower body issue. With Ashton Davis out indefinitely with a leg injury, Trader's positioned to be Miami's fourth safety behind Minkah Fitzpatrick, Melifanu, Elijah Campbell, who all started in Sunday's preseason opener against Chicago. Campbell left Sunday's game with an injury, but it's not serious, and he's day-to-day. Meanwhile, McDaniel said 2 injured offensive linemen, Andrew Meyer and Liam Eichenberg, won't be returning anytime soon. Eichenberg is on the physically unable to perform list. So, and Meyer's been arguably the Miami Dolphins' best offensive lineman in the first 10 days of camp before suffering an undisclosed injury. McDaniel said it is undetermined if Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Jalen Phillips will practice this week after sitting out Sunday's game. They are in the conversation to play, McDaniel said. So, McDaniel said Alexander Madison, who's out for the year with a neck injury, is doing well, that the injury which required surgery is not career-ending. Brother, you told us he had head and neck soreness, and I'll believe it when I see it. So, he was asked how the Dolphins will handle short yardage situations with Madison out. He said, quote, "He wasn't brought here to solve a problem. We weren't solving any shortcoming of our game by any one player. Everyone has to step up," end quote. We'll see. He did say Madison was having a really good camp. On Gordon's play, he said he did some good things with the ball in his hands. I recognize a lot of good things with his game. He's tough to tackle, runs super hard. That's why we drafted him. Rookies have to learn to play with the ball, have to play when the ball is not in their hands. So, indicating there's still some things that Ollie Gordon needs to work on. What was interesting to me, let's get into some other issues here. So, he addressed Jonas Savai's play on Sunday against Chicago. He said he was really pumped about Jonas' play. Shows daily improvement. On tight end Darren Waller, who's been on the physically unable to perform list since the start of camp, he will not participate in the joint practice this week. But Drew Rosenhaus has said that he'll be ready for the start of the season. Now, the Dolphins did hold a walkthrough today. So, and then they got joint practices the next 2 days. Now, I got something to address here. On Darren Waller. I don't get this. He doesn't want to put Darren Waller in joint practice situations, so what? Is he just going to practice next week for the 19th and the 20th before the joint practice with the Jags, and that's it? I mean, you got to throw this guy to the wolves. What are we talking about here? And then, because here's the deal. If you're afraid to put him in joint practice, that means he's only going to get 2 practices in and then a bunch of stuff behind the scenes before the regular season starts. I mean, this makes no sense. If Darren Waller isn't ready to be thrown into joint practices right now, is Darren Waller ready to play in a game at the beginning of September in like a month? I don't know what we're bubble wrapping here. I have no idea. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But you got to explain this one to me, dude. You got to explain this one to me. So, I think this doesn't make any sense, this Waller thing. Why are we being so protective with Waller? These are the perfect opportunities to get him into football shape. Get him hit a little bit. Get him used to contact. What are we waiting for? So, whatever. I mean, at this point, I might dress up at tight end and be better than what we're getting. I mean, and I'll make a point right here for you. Here's a real good point. Chris Myrick. Y'all brought Chris Myrick back. This man hadn't played, meaningful football since, 2022, 2023 with the Giants? Right? Last year with Houston, when he signed to the practice squad, he lasted a month. When he was with the Jags in 2024, he lasted 22 days? This guy hasn't played meaningful football since when? Since October 14th, 2024. You brought him back and you had no problem putting him in these positions. Hell, even putting him in a preseason game. It makes no sense. So, let's see what you got. Now, we were going over yesterday the Athletics rankings. I had to go over this. Dan Orlovsky, he ranked NFL quarterbacks by trait. And I thought this was interesting. So I wanted to go over because Tua did make this list. All right, so let's go over what Dan Orlovsky said, and then we're going to get into some all-22 because I'm going to break down about 14 plays I want to go over. All right, so when you look at Tua right here after that list, this is how Dan Orlovsky kind of ranked everything here. You see right here, Dan Orlovsky had Tua Tagovailoa, 7th in ball placement, 8th in decision making. He only made 2 areas when you look at everything here. Whereas you guys got guys making all the areas like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow made every area but one. Jaden Daniels made every area but one. So then it kind of ranks them based on how many how many traits they made on Dan Orlovsky's list. And, again, for me, he talks about, Tua making ball placement when you go look at the actual article from Dan Orlovsky. And Tua was ranked 7th on ball placement, and he said accurate and ball placement aren't the same thing. And what he's talking when he's talking about most important traits for a QB, ball location does carry more weight for him, right? Can you precisely place the ball no matter the situation? Do you routinely get the completion even when you shouldn't? Does the ball go to a spot that allows for extra yardage after the catch? Accurate QBs put the ball wherever the receiver can make a play, but those with high-end ball placement make sure the receiver is the only one who can make the play. So we had Tua 7th there, Joe Burrow 1, Jaden Daniels 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Josh Allen 4, Patrick Mahomes 5, and then 6 was Stafford right in front of Tua Tagovailoa. Then in decision-making, he did have Tua he had him at 8 in decision-making. He had Burrow at 1, Allen at 2, Jackson at 3, Jaden Daniels at 4, Patrick Mahomes at 5, Stafford at 6, and Herbert at 7. Now, he said there are 2 levels of sound decision-making. First is the quarterback make the right choice at the right time when everything is going to plan. Clean pocket, open receiver. Hit him for a completion rather than force a dangerous play. Simple enough, right? Things get more interesting for the other scenario, though. Does the quarterback make the only choice at the right time when everything is breaking down? There isn't much room for mistakes when passers are forced to decide faster than they want. Can he read out a defense, figure out if the opponent is trying to bait him into doing something that he doesn't want to do and make the correct call? Right now, he did talk about Tua specifically, and he said Tua has to decide faster than anyone else because of Miami's lackluster offensive line, with their average of 2.42 seconds before the throw being the shortest in the league. So now there are some places where I thought Tua should have made it. I thought Tua should have been in, first of all, I thought Michael Penix, making arm strength was hilarious. I don't see that. But anyways, with Tua, I think Tua should be top 10 in pocket presence. Like Bryce Young having a better pocket presence over Tua, I don't see that. Right? Now, we know he's not going to make rushing ability at all. You know what I mean? So, now, he didn't make as well second reaction ability, and that is basically when the ball is snapped and everything breaks down, the defense wins a play. What happens next? You know, he's got guys like Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Lamar, Burrow. I don't know how Caleb's making a lot of these because Caleb's didn't look very good last year, but c'est la vie, I guess, right? C'est la vie, I guess. But there you go, Tua Tagovailoa. He made two of the categories, 2 of the 7 categories. I do think he should have made 3. I think he should have been in pocket presence, but it is what it is. So that is how Dan Orlovsky ranked NFL quarterbacks based on their traits. All right, now let's keep going here. Let's get into some film. I got a lot I want to talk about. I got 14 plays that I clipped up from yesterday that I think we can that can give us some vision on a few things. From Kenneth Grant, I think they got something special here. OG 31, a whole bunch of stuff I want to talk about with the film here. So I only got 14 plays. We're not going to go too deep into it, but let's get into it. And let's start off with the defense, because as soon as I saw this play, I'm like, man, we got to talk about this on tomorrow's show. As soon as I saw this play. So, all right, so let's start here. And what I want to watch here is I want you to watch the rotation of coverage. Like, it's just, it's very interesting here what the Miami Dolphins do. All right, and I think it goes to show what we might see from Anthony Weaver a little bit this year. So this is the Bears' first drive of the game. It's 2nd and 10. It's a single back look with Badgen under center for the Bears, 12 personnel. It's a 1-by-1 receiver set. Watch the second level, though. Do you see Elijah Campbell lined up, how he's lined up on the second level right there? They're really showing a single high cover 1 look, right? But watch post snap. What is going to happen is Elijah Campbell, all right, he's the second level, for closest to the 30 on the second level right there. Watch what he's going to do. He's going to drop, and the post snap disguise, it's going to reveal itself as like a Tampa 2. All right? So watch what happens here. I want to just show you this. Look at this, all right? Badgen's going to take the snap. And look at that. Look at that rotation. And there you go. The step up and then the drop back. Right? You saw him step and then buck drop. I believe that's Jordan Brooks on the second level. But look at what that turned into from what it was. Gotta love the post-snap disguising already from Anthony Weaver. So let's watch this play, because I want you to watch coming off the left edge, number 40. He's the third one in the middle. Sorry, he's in the middle of the 3 at the bottom of your screen right there. Number 40. He's going to come just glaring off that edge, right? He's going to easily displace the running back with a simple double-handed swipe. Right there's a double-handed swipe, and Benito Jones causes pressure, and there you go. Sack for a 6-yard loss. Now watch a little bit here. Again, Willie Gay, he's going to come off your left side right now, and he's going to displace that running back easily with that double-handed swipe. And watch Benito Jones in the middle there as that one tech. He's going to easily move the right guard. He's shading inside. He's going to move him out of his way, and he's going to provide that pass rush up the middle, and they're going to finish this off. Look at this right here. Look at this. There's up the middle. Boom! Gotcha. Big play, Willie Gay. Love it. All right, so this is the Dolphins' first drive of the game. It's 1st and 10 at the Chicago 34. 2 is in the gun, H.A. to his left, 12 personnel, 1-by-1 receiver set here. Chicago, they're going to show cover 3 with a motion here. With the motion. James Daniels and Aaron Brewer are going to double team Zach Pickens, who's going to shift from a 1 tech to a 2. And watch. Daniels is going to ID Hippolyte, hitting that open B gap. He's going to wash him out for that play, while Brewer's going to finish off his block. And this is going to allow Achane right there to cut back and get inside with a sizable 11-yard gain. I mean, that right side. I want to watch this again here, all right? So James Daniels and Aaron Brewer, they're going to double team Zach Pickens. He's going to shift from a 1 to a 2 tech. And then Daniels, he's going to ID Hippolyte and hitting that open B gap. And he's going to say, not today, sir. Watch this. Hippolyte is 47 right there of the Bears. So watch this. It's going to allow Achane to shift back and get inside. Watch this. There's a shift, and then there's a double, and then boom, I got you. Woo, James. Love to see that. Love to see that from James Daniels. My God, that's beautiful. So this is now the next drive for Miami. It's 2nd and goal. Zach Wilson's in. This is just brutal stuff here from Zach Wilson. He started this drive off skipping a screen pass at Julian Hill's feet. So we got Zach Wilson. He's under center. Madison is single back, 13 personnel with a stack set to the left. All right? Sorry, this is 12 personnel. I apologize. Not 13. It's 12. So you got that stack on the left, 12 personnel here. All right? And Tanner Connor, he's going to come across the backside from the right and to that left. And Wilson's going to fake the handoff. He's going to have Tanner Connor open after Ogbogniga released him on the shoot route. Right there, he's released. Look at, he's released. He's wide open. But Wilson's footwork and mechanics, look at it, throwing off his back foot, not set, with some pressure bearing down. And he once again underthrows an easy throw, and this would have been a walk-in touchdown. Just not good stuff. I mean, you just got to set your feet and drive the football and take the hit, Zach. I don't know what to tell you, pretty boy. You know? So, tough one there. Tough one there. Now, this is 1st and goal on the next Bears drive. You got Badgett under center. Okay? Monagai is a single back, 11 personnel, 2x1 receiver set with a stack to the left. Watch Jordan Phillips on this play. All right? He's lined up as the 0 tech right here. Watch Jordan Phillips. This is big boy stuff, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to get hit with a double team. He's going to hold his ground. McFadden's going to move off the double to take on Britt shooting the B gap. And Jordan Phillips is going to get his hands inside of Ryan Bates. He's going to use his raw power and toss him to the left. Watch this. Watch the 0 tech right here. Got the motion right there. Badgett sees something he doesn't like. Another motion. I want to thank McDaniel for bringing all these motions into the NFL. All right, there's a double. Works on it, and this boom. Look at it. Gets a little help right there from Melifanu to stand up Monagai. But here's it again. Look at 94 right here. Watch this. He's going to get hit with the double. He's going to hold his ground. And when McFadden moves off to Britt shooting the B gap, Jordan Phillips is going to get his hands inside of Ryan Bates. He's going to use his raw power. And he's just going to toss him to the left. And then he's going to meet Monagai, who's coming downhill through the gap. He's going to stop him dead in his tracks right there. Melifanu comes in and helps him out. And that's beautiful support to shut down the run. Now, the Bears would be called for an illegal shift here. But, I mean, wow, one more time. Look at this. Double. Look, he just holds his ground, tosses one, gets off, and boom, he's right there. Right there to meet this man and say no more. Whoo! I got to tell you, from Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips, and Kenneth Grant, I love what I saw from those rookie interior defensive linemen. Oh, boy. Oh, my God. Now, the Bears did get called for an illegal shift, but what an effort by Jordan Phillips on that last play. So it's 7-7 now. It's 1st and 10 to start the 3rd drive of the game. And it's the 2nd drive for Zach Wilson here. We got Wilson under center. Right's the single back, 2x1 receiver set at 11 personnel. Cover 2 for the Bears. Now watch this. Wilson is going to fake the handoff. He's going to have the slant to the right. He's going to start his progressions there. But he's not going to anticipate the window coming up open underneath. And it isn't on time here. He's trigger shy. I mean, he is going to see this all the way and just not throw it. Watch this. Watch the right side. Boom, ball's out. Ball has to be out right there. And he's looking right at it, dude. What are we waiting for? This is the throw. What are you waiting for? Now watch his head. Watch his head. Oh, look at it. Still looking. Now he comes off of it. And the guy's still open. And yeah, I get it. You got underneath defender, starting to bail back and hang underneath it. But you got an arm, brother. Everyone told me you got this live arm. You can still fit that window, no? Everyone tells me Tua can fit this window. Why can't you? And now he's looking off to the left and nothing there, man. He chooses not even to hit this because the coverage it's basically bracketed. And then here we go. Let's take a sack. Come on, man. You got to anticipate that slant based on what you're seeing pre-snap and then what you see post-snap. I mean, you know he's going underneath that. As soon as you see that linebacker bite on the handoff, you know you have this underneath. You know you have this. You got the linebacker taking false steps upwards and you're not making this throw. This is basic fundamentals in this offense. You got to see that, bro. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Again, this goes back to what I'm telling you. He's got all the traits with the arm and the legs, but upstairs, the cerebral part of the game, it's just not there for Zach Wilson. You got to make, come on, man. So, Zach looks it off, takes the sack. It was easy E, for all you guys wondering and asking. I'm pretty sure it was easy E. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. 4 Mississippis almost, bro. What does this guy want? Just not good enough up there. You got to hit that throw. You know, trying to bail after finishing your progressions and missing the initial window, brutal. He needs to anticipate those windows better, process the coverage better, and he's got to be decisive. Same issues we've seen. So, 2 plays later after the sack for an 8-yard loss, it's 3rd and 10. Wilson in the gun with right to his left. 1-by-2 set with a stack to the right. All right. More 12 personnel. Oh, no, sorry. Oh, this is 11 personnel right here for the Miami Dolphins. It's like a cover 3 cloud for the Bears on this. All right. And again, Bears are going to send 7. Count how many they're sending, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up front, right? Sending 7 off his back foot. Watch Wilson. He's going to deliver a dime. Back foot. You could see the feet weren't properly planted. He tried to, and he took a little bit of a hit. But that's what's so frustrating about this guy, man. Now you get this flash. Just a flick of the wrist, and that ball is at Tajay Washington. But this is basically almost off his back foot, right? Because when we watch his front foot, it actually almost comes off fully off the turf. Wilson delivers a dime to Taj Washington, who sold. Watch look at the front's off, right? Taj Washington, look at this. Swooey! Oh. And actually, if you go back and you watch the whole route from Taj. If you watch the route from Taj, he's gonna really sell at the top of his stem hard with a stab step to the inside on his corner route. And then look at how dangerous he is after the catch. Ready? There's a stab right there. Woo! Creates that separation, gets open, and then whoop, whoop. 1, 2 misses, 2 misses, 3. Took 3 defenders to bring him down off the right sideline. Love what we saw from Taj there. But again, you watch the mechanics here from Wilson. It looks like he wants to stand firm, but just falling backwards. And just a flick of the wrist, the ball's there. I mean, that's the arm talent we talk about him having, for sure. So, Taj Washington looks explosive. Now, we'll go back for a sec here. Jonas Savaiinaea gets put on absolute skates. All right? This is not a good ref for Jonas Savaiinaea, right? What's going to happen is he's going to get hit with a slap, and he's going to let the defender inside his chest plate, and that's going to put him on his ass. Watch 72. Watch slap, and then in the chest and put down. Not a great rep for Savaiinaea, who, again, he was up and down. He had reps where he's going to want them back from when he was in space, and he had reps where he showed off his anchor, right? So this is now the same drive. Now, this is a good rep for Jonas Savaiinaea in the run game, all right? Dolphins are on the Bears 7, 1st and goal. Savaiinaea, who's had an up-and-down day in the run game, especially when stretched out into space, he needed to finish a lot more, but showed a good anchor and pass protection despite the rep we just saw. That said, watch this. He's going to take that angle block. He's going to go down blocking to double the defender. He's going to open that lane for right. Look at that. Look at. There he is, opening that lane. There's Savaianai opening that lane. Boom. There it is. So that's a good rep from Savaianai, right? Right here. Just watch. He's going to do a good job on that angle block to double that defender. He's going to open that lane. Watch 72 here. Pull across that backside. He's going to down block. Here we go. So 14-7 with about 145 left in the second after this score. But again, let's watch Savaianai here from the God view. Look at him. He's going to double and finish that off. All right. Good stuff there from Savaianai. We'll take that. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kenneth Grant Show. All right. This is now the following Bears drive after what we just saw from the Dolphins making it 14-7. This might have been the defense's best drive of the game. We got 3 straight Kenneth Grant plays, and they all happened in real-time succession. So this is 1st and 10. Let the Kenny G show begin for the next 3 straight plays. Watch Grant here. He's lined up as like a one-tech. See, he's shading the inside shoulder right here of the guard, right? And watch what he's going to do here. This is impressive stuff, all right? This is impressive stuff. He's going to win with a quick hand swipe, but he's going to lose his balance. And then watch the effort you get, all right? Look how quickly. Penetrate, hand swipe. Look at. But he loses balance, okay? But look at. Travis Homer now is coming out on the screen. You see Kenneth Grant's already up. And look at this. He gets out there and hunts down this running back at 330 pounds. What an effort. What an effort. Let's watch it in real, like, full time, full speed. Look at this. Hand swipe win, lose balance, get up, and hunt him down. Whoop. Come on. Holy Jesus. All right, and we ain't done. Next play. Very next play, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd and 1 now because they gained 9 on that. Watch Grant. He's now the 2-tech over top of the right guard, right, in the 4-man front. He's going to take on an initial double team. He's going to keep his legs churning as the right guard's going to bail to support the right tackle, Grayson Murphy. And look at it. He wins against Ryan Bates and boom, gets his hand up. Love it. Love it. Bats it down. This is 2 straight plays, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we're seeing a little bit of a force here. He's just going to push back Bates after the right guard bails to support. Oh, hand up. Come on. Come on. And we ain't done. We ain't done. Now, this is the next play. So this is the 3rd play in a row. On that same Bears drive after 2 straight plays where Grant shows he may be a force on the interior sooner than later. It's 3rd and 1. Grant again looks impressive here. See him is lined up as the 1-tech here. All right. Shading the left shoulder of the center Bates. Look at, he's going to get his hands under the shoulder pads of Bates. Watch, he's going to win with a quick swim over move after he pulls Bates in with his strength, and he shuts down the run right there. Just beyond the line of scrimmage. Travis Homer barely converts, but again, look at how quickly he wins. 3 great reps in a row. Boom, get out of my way. And there were more. I could have done probably about 10 plays on Grant alone. This kid is going to be special. I don't care what anyone tries to tell me. All right? Now, Bears have the ball. 37 seconds left in the first half. 1st and 10 from the Chicago's own 48. Badgett in the gun, running back to his right, 11 personnel, 2x1 receiver, split set. Torre is going to motion in tighter to Burden, who's in the slot already. Dolphins show a potential cover 4 look, then drop to cover 3. Look at, watch Torre. He's at the top receiver, the receiver on the top here for the Bears. All right? He's going to cut in on the dig, but look at Bonner. He's going to read Badgett's eyes and break on the route. He's going to do a great job. He closes in and gets his hand in there, balls up. Great pass breakup by Ethan Bonner. Deflecting it up in the air, and Patrick Moore sitting right there for that easy interception. Listen, I thought Ethan Bonner and Storm Duck were the Dolphins' best cornerbacks on Sunday. But again, great play here by Ethan Bonner. Just getting that hand in there. Arriving on time, getting that hand in there. Look at that. I love it. Love it. Yup. Great play by Ethan Bonner. And then safety right there. We're good to go. Let's go. Great stuff from Ethan Bonner, I thought. All right, now Ewers time. Dolphins third drive of the second half now. They're up 14-10. Ewers is in the game. Ewers in the gun, empty backfield, 2x3 receiver set. Bears show a 2-high shell with a possible cover 4. But post snap, they're going to drop to cover 2 look post snap. They're going to do some with some rotation there. Keon Smith, watch the left tackle on this play. He gets absolutely destroyed by Austin Booker. I mean, he gets Smith off balance with a bit of a stutter inside before breaking out wide. And he's going to get his left hand on Smith's right shoulder pad and just send him to the ground with ease. Watch this. Creates a free rush. Now, Ewers is going to bail because he's going to feel a little pressure up the middle, but he doesn't see his blind side. Ball's out. Brutal sequence here deep in Miami's territory. Watch 71 here. This is just brutal. Watch this. Again, all right? He's going to get absolutely destroyed by Booker here. He's going to get him off balance. Watch Booker's going to do like a little stutter inside before breaking out wide. Then he's going to get his left hand on Smith's right shoulder pad and just easily move him out of the way. Just send him to the ground. Look at this. Right there. Come on, man. Got to be better than that, Keon. Got to be better than that. Oh, my Lord. All right. Next Dolphins drive after the Ewers strip fumble. It's 17-4 Bears, 14 Bears now. 2nd and 20 from the Chicago 49. Ewers under center. Ollie Gordon, the second, is in now as a single back. 1x2 receiver set. 11 personnel for Miami. Cover 1 for Chicago here. And this is a great job by Braden Daniels, Addison West, and Josh Preby. Watch the interior here. I thought this was a great job by all three of them to clear out the run lane for OG31. Look at this. Because Gordon still has to make 2 men miss, which he does with an initial broken tackle. And he spins off the second tackle. But look at Daniels, Addison West, and Preby here. They move some men here. Watch that interior. Look at that. Let's go. That is good stuff. That is real good stuff right there. Right? Like, you watch that interior, they're moving people right here on this one. And I'm big on this. If you want to know who really doesn't have a great rep out of the offensive line, it's probably, I would say, probably Jalen McKenzie is the one who doesn't have the great rep here on the offensive line. Number 75, who they have at right tackle. Because his man is the initial tackle that has to be broken. Right? So, watch this here. Again. Look at that. See? He just pushes the man, drives his man in. But you see the rest of the line is clearing. It's Jalen McKenzie is the one who doesn't do his job. And that creates an initial tackle. Gordon has to break. He does. And then he spins off of it. And he's gone to the races for a 21-yard pickup out of the gates. But again, I would put this on Jalen McKenzie. Didn't look good at all. You know, I would put this on Jalen McKenzie. But that interior looked really good. That interior looked really good right here. Boom. So that's good stuff. All right. And then the second last drive of the day for the Dolphins here. Tied 2024. This drive would end with another Ewers fumble, but I had to highlight his best throw of the day. It's 4th and 5. Ewers in the gun. Gordon to his left. 1x2 receiver set with a stack on the right. 11 personnel from Miami. Cover 2 for the Bears. Ewers, he starts to the right. He doesn't like what he sees. And then he's going to come back to OG31, coming out of the backfield on the left side, running a slant with a hard jab step sell to the outside before he cuts back in. Safety is breaking down on it after IDing, but Ewers stays firm in the pocket, delivers it into a window. That really becomes tighter than you'd think it would be at the last minute. Big completion right here. Look at, see, right into that window. Good throw right there. Good throw right there. So that was probably his best completion of the day. So that is the all 22 footage I wanted to break down. All right. That is the clips that I wanted to go over. It is what it is. You know, I like what I saw from Kenneth Grant. I really liked what he saw from Kenneth Grant. 110%. Kenneth did great stuff. I think, man, I think that really, when you look at that interior defensive line, all right, man, when you look at that interior defensive line right there, there is a lot of stuff to like from what we saw. Even Zeke Biggers, I didn't have time to really highlight Zeke Biggers in that. But, I mean, from what you saw, man, it was some great stuff from that interior defensive line. Jonas Ioannidis, up and down day. He's got some stuff that he needs to definitely fix. We'll see if he can fix it. We'll see what happens. Now, more than that, Ewers, that was a tough one for Quinn Ewers. That was a tough outing for Quinn Ewers. Now, he did make a good throw at the end there. But, man, I like what I saw from Quinn Ewers. Hopefully, he can continue to grow. He can continue to develop. But I do like what I saw from Quinn Ewers. I think for sure he has got some potential. I mean, there were definitely with Quinn Ewers, when you look at the Quinn Ewers situation, there were definitely some chances missed because of good coverage. There were definitely some chances missed because Ewers made mistakes. So I think Ewers is going to have to get better. Zach Wilson is who we thought he was. That's just where we're at right now. But like I said, I love what I saw from the interior defensive line. Kenneth Grant, I didn't have a chance to put in any Zeke Biggers, but Zeke Biggers looked good. Jordan Phillips looked good. Jonas Ioannidis, up and down day. Patrick Paul lived up to the hype in my opinion. I liked the potential I saw in the trenches, especially with the depth on the defensive line. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm at a stage with Addison West, Josh Preby, and company where I'd rather see what these guys got than Keon Smith and, Larry Borum, and Jermaine Ifedi. So, it is what it is. Don't ever let it be what it ain't. All right, we'll continue to watch as this team develops and grows throughout the preseason. And we'll see what we come to in the end. So, still got 2 preseason games, still got some joint practices, and still got, we still got joint practices, we still got normal practices, we still got preseason games. So we'll see. Keon was awful. Borum wasn't impressed with Borum. Jermaine Ifedi was awful. Jalen McKenzie wasn't very good. But I think the interior, the guy, I was intrigued by Andrew Meyer last year, right? And I think once again this year, let's see what Braden Daniels, Addison West, and Josh Preby have. Maybe we can find some hungry guys that, can deliver something for this team in terms of depth. Because I think we're all over the Liam Eichenberg, Keon Smith, etc. experiment. So, guys, man, it was a rough one today from technical issues all day. But I appreciate you guys for hanging through. It was just one of those days. So, make sure you smash that like button. If you're new, go ahead and subscribe. We had over 450 of you live with me today. And I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, we got joint practices the next 2 days. So, I will keep you updated and keep it locked in here. And let's see how physical the Dolphins are over the next 2 days. All right? Until then, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. We'll see y'all in the next one. Appreciate y'all. Have a fantastic rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whenever you're watching this. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one.